Hello, this is episode 4 of Women of Walkthroughs. Thank you so much for coming to this episode. This episode is going to be with Dorota. She has some amazing things to share. We will get to know about her journey and see how she got into cyber, how her journey is going so far. So let's get to the discussion. So first of all, welcome Dorota. Thank you so much for coming to this episode and agreeing to do this. First of all, let me just make sure that I am pronouncing your name right. Is that right?
Yeah, Dorota Kozlowska. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, first of all, how are you doing?
Uh, yeah, not good. The weather is like because I'm from Poland, and we have like it's so cold during the winter, and then I didn't see the sun for like half of the year. So now it's the summer, and it's warm and sunny. So yeah, then now I'm now it's like yeah, great.
Okay, before we discuss anything else, would you please like to briefly introduce yourself, how you got into cyber, and how's your journey going so far?
Oh, like my introduction is never brief. It's like I can talk about it for an hour, but I would try to do it like faster. I wanted to be like I wanted to study IT when I was a teenager, but like didn't believe in myself enough to do it. And then I worked for like studied economics. I have a master's degree. I worked for local government for 8 years, and then at year six, I saw that yeah, my life is not going in the right direction. So I just did everything to uh, enter IT at first. So I became a software tester, and then I moved to the Netherlands, and there I entered cybersecurity. Uh, and kind of like in the company that I entered the cybersecurity in, they didn't have any technical jobs, and I wanted to be a pen tester. So I came back to Poland within the same company because I found out they have like one of three the best red teams in like Europe. So yeah, I started learning with them, and I worked 3 years with them. But fast forward in between like that and now, I started to podcast. I started like also being more public on LinkedIn, gathering people around me. Now I have like more than 50,000 followers, and I started to like also send my coffee papers for conferences. And like I did like 60 certifications, not like big ones like OCP, but like courses, and like that was like very offensive. And so I'm learning, and like I'm being a public speaker. I'm being invited to big conferences, and I had like the super big opportunity to record one of the walkthroughs for Try Hack Me for Advent of Cyber last year. So that was really cool. I wasn't expecting that this to happen to me, but and now I work for Black Hills, and yeah, I can say like finally after like a lot of years of like learning and like fighting for like being on the right path and being happy, then I'm finally happy and like found my spot. And I'm really like glad that I entered cybersecurity because it's like I feel this is like where I belong. So yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I was actually watching that episode of Philip Whitey show with you. The episode he did with you, and I watched the whole episode. And your introduction, your whole journey, the backstory of you getting to this point is kind of really awesome and really challenging in many different ways. And yes, we are going to discuss that in more detail in later. But for now, you mentioned you did a walkthrough for TryHackMe. That's why we are here today. So, how was your experience reading the walkthrough for TryHackMe, and how do you actually feel about having a separate woman lineup on a platform like TryHackMe?
I mean, we should have a woman lineup because it's like very representants, like seeing women in cybersecurity really matters. And even like for me, when I go to like a conference, when I'm a speaker, and sometimes the only woman in the lineup, it's like kind of like, I don't know, the word depressing comes to mind. It's like very sad. And usually, maybe there's like a bad example, but like usually when I'm like airport, like anywhere you go, there's like a huge line and like the female toilet, I don't know. But like on conferences there's like no line at all, and I feel I want that line there, like. And yeah, So we need more women. We are very intelligent, we are capable, but we don't believe in ourselves enough, maybe, and it's kind of like related to that. It's like men's world a bit. So sometimes we are like, yeah, uh, we don't enough have enough opportunities to like believe in ourselves and like actually do it. But depends on like environment we grew on, like born in. But yeah, but for the try hack me, to answer like actually your question and not like the woman part. So I was like really surprised that I got selected, and yeah, I was like really happy. And I had like some prep before, because I had a podcast and YouTube channel, so I was like not super anxious about it, but still it was a bit rushed because the male lineup had like more time to record it, and their videos were like really professional. And I saw that they had like a lot of time, they could like think what they will do there. And for me it was like, okay, you have like a week, and then I had to figure out how to record it, like do it like a demo for myself, prepare it, and then just record on the fly. And no, like, edits. Like I did some edits, to be honest, but it was I didn't feel it's like super professional, and like the camera and like everything lighting. It's just like me recording in my room, or like medium level camera, and whatever I had in like available to me. But I think still I did a pretty good job for like a first time walkthrough. I I feel I could maybe do better, but like for first time, I was like really happy and like proud of myself. So yeah, very very happy about this opportunity. And yeah,
Yes,
that's
you did a good job in that walkthrough. And you mentioned that you were surprised that you got selected. Why is that? Because you already had a YouTube channel, you had content on that, you had audience. Then why were you surprised on being selected?
I mean, I don't know, like I don't I maybe I have like a large following, but in heart, I'm still like normal Dorota, I don't feel myself as a celebrity or like anyone famous. It's just like I have some talents, and I go online, record videos, and like I have a podcast. So I just like, yeah, maybe it's just like a disconnect between what people see me like, and what I think of myself. And like still like normal Dorota, I don't feel like, yeah, big personality. And maybe that comes of like, I don't know, even in the way I'm talking and like recording that video. It's just like I'm being talking with like a friend, or like, yeah, and I'm not like having like, there were like other ladies in the lineup that were like very, professional, big makeup. I don't know how to explain it, but like they're like influencers from Instagram, and like very uh position, like, they were positioning their bodies, and like I saw that they had like a lot of practice, and they thought that through. And me just like sat in front of my screen and started like talking like I was explaining to a friend. So yeah, it's like yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, I don't feel like I have super big like influencer uh video style, like maybe that. And that's why I was like, oh, okay, you just want like a normal girl, that, yeah, that's nice. So, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, and there were not so many women who were like influencer type in this lineup. Most of them were new faces, at least for me. All of them were new faces, and most of them were beginners as well. They had their channel on very early stages, a few videos, a small audience. That was all about the woman lineup. I think just a few of them had a proper setup. All of them, all the other women, they also did the video like you did, like sitting in a room explaining the topic and the room like you would explain to a friend. So it was pretty much a similar experience for all of them. And let's talk a little about your journey. You came from a government job and then you transitioned into IT. So government job is kind of a stable thing. Like once you get a job, you are settled for whole your life. How was your experience moving from that stability to kind of going on a path where you don't know what's gonna happen next, how you are gonna get in, and how you're gonna get ahead when you get in? So how was your experience moving from a stable position to a really unstable?
I mean, it wasn't for me. It wasn't about stable, unstable. I just like didn't wanted to work there anymore because I felt like I was like, yeah. To be honest, I was mobbed by my manager, so it was a toxic work environment for me, and I was not happy. I was very, very unhappy in that job. So for me, it was kind of like I have to save my life kind of situation and like leave that job because like even like mental health is like getting worse and worse in that environment. And I started thinking about my life, and I'm like very young at that age, like I was in my 20s, like started like 30s, like in the 8th year. And I had like a lot of changes. Uh, yeah, I don't know how to explain this. Like I started thinking about my life that I wasn't happy. I wanted to study IT, and like I saw that I'm not like really following my life path that I envisioned for myself. And yeah, and you're right, it's a stable job. So it's also like something that really, really terrified me, that I'm like in my like early 30s, so really unhappy, and like, you know, like I losing the will to live, like almost to that point. And that would be like my life till like I'm like 67. And so it's like, no, no. And so I started like, that's where I was kind of like fighting for myself, you know, for happy life in a way. That's why I entered IT, and I didn't regret it, although it's like you're right. And also like the friends and the government job were like, oh, Dorota, why are you leaving? It's like you have like a stable job till like forever, and it's a prestigious position because you have to like pass a lot of exams to get it, and like have a master's degree, and like, you know, the selection process like very gruesome. And so I had to go through like kind of like hell to get that job even, you know. So but for me it was like 0-1, kind of like a no brainer, and I didn't like think about it too. I mean, I thought about it for a year, but all of it was like screaming inside of me, yeah, I don't want to stay here. So I was just like thinking more to figure out what the way how to leave. And yeah, then I found like software testing, and I felt like, okay, I can be good at it because I had like this talent that I'm touching something electronic, like I don't know, and it breaks. So I felt like, okay, I'm breaking things naturally. They will pay me for that. So okay, it's a job for me. And then like from that, I because I'm my core character trait is I'm a learner. So we had to like have that in like mind when I tell the story. So after a year of software testing, I changed the job again because I wanted to write automation for software testing, for like functional testing. And so I found a job where I was learning Java, writing tests, and doing all that stuff. And then I moved to another country, to the Netherlands, and then worked 3 years for like a big company. I was testing everything there. And yeah, so I wasn't testing security, and it was kind of like on the back of my head because in all of the testing books I read preparing for that job, preparing to like change my industry. There was like pen testing chapter that I was kind of like scared of and felt like a bit overwhelming at first and like super hard. But then I'm a person that did that, you know, like change the industry, and I felt like, well, it wasn't that hard, although it was like really scary because it's like something unknown. But for me it was more like exciting and like amazing, like what my life could be now when I'm like not super unhappy. And so like I'm really like grateful that I like the younger version of me that I did that, because like 12 years later I'm like, this is like the happiest I ever been. And it was like all worth it. It was like, it was hard work, blood and tears kind of, but it's worth it, like to work that hard, and like your older self will be so proud of you. And yeah, it's like, yeah, I'm so proud of the young Dorota. And so yeah, in the Netherlands, like to tell you like feel the story a bit. In the Netherlands, how I got into cyber was I found some cyber related meetups, and one of them were for women, and like that wanted to enter or like just were in the industry. And for me it was a good meetup to like join because I didn't believe in myself enough. Like, I mean, I believed in myself enough to enter cyber, but I was kind of like maybe intimidated by the whole endeavor. And so seeing women that already work in the industry were like empowering for me. And that's where I like decided I didn't have any mentors. And so when I finally entered cybersecurity, I actually through one of the meetups with the women and my future employer were there, and like I started asking a lot of questions, and they like invited me to an interview because they saw, I don't know, she's a smart woman. I don't know what they thought, but I kind of impressed them with my questions. And so yeah, yeah, I forgot I forgot like what I wanted to say. I digressed, but overall it was like worth it. And what you have to do if you want to enter cybersecurity, just like a network with people, because you can send a lot of CVs, and if someone knows you, then sometimes you get a job like that, right? So I even have like had like a situation in 2024 where I was like looking for jobs, sent like 100 applications or even more, and were invited to 30 job interviews. And also I had like a big network around me on LinkedIn, and a lot of those people are like my friends that really like me and wanted to help me and want to see me grow. And I'm like that person for other people. That's what I decided when I was entering as a junior, to be the senior that I didn't have when I was a junior, because I didn't have any mentors. And so those people were like also like sending me job opportunities for like private message, or like even I had a situation when a friend from Australia called his friend from Poland and got me to a job interview and like a well-known company. So like networking is like a very good idea if you want to enter the industry and yeah, getting to know people. So yeah, I'm done because I can talk for a long time about this.
Yeah, and that phase of transition from stability to going to a path that you want to go, but you do not actually know what is ahead for you. What are you gonna get? How are you gonna end up? And as you said, you did not had any mentor, so it was kind of an extra difficulty level. So if someone today is going through that transition period, moving through a stable career stable path to a path that they want to continue, but they do not know what is waiting ahead for them at that path. What do you suggest to those people who are currently right now in this stable transition phase from stable to unstability?
I mean, for me, it was like I had to like rewrite my mindset in a way from, oh, I'm so scared. And it's like thinking black thoughts and like all the wrong things that could go like wrong, you know? So overthinking bad things, kind of. So to a mindset that I'm thinking, okay, I don't know what will happen tomorrow. Oh, how exciting, you know? Because that's actually what life is. And you don't let fear control your life. That's what I decided, that I don't want fear to make decisions for me. So I just want to do all, to take a chance on myself and like see what happens. And usually when you take the first step, you see the path in front of you. So uh, I would advise to like just gather the core courage and like start sending the CVs, or like having even the interviews or whatever, just as a practice to, I don't know, see what you can expect. You can always ask the people on the other side what my like first week would look like, what like this job, can you tell me about this job, what I can expect? So they will tell you everything, and they give you advice. Just like ask good questions and use the interviews as like a prep for the interview, where you really, 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 really want that job. It's like the dream job for you, you know? So send a lot of CVs, go to interviews as like a test, and then see what happens. And if you go to interviews without like really caring if they hire you, you can also like practice negotiating your future pay. So it's like more that you like currently have. So there's like a more like motivating for you to like change in a way, right? Because you see, okay, I'm going there and it's like more money, more growth. more like exciting things that I could learn, and it's going to be a good path. So this had so my advice is like take it slowly. I know it's like super scary and like you don't want to. And if you like leave the security of the position that you have, that's what like the basic need of human beings. So you have to have the security. You have to have money for rent and money, and you have to have, I don't know, like food on your table, right? So if you don't have that security, that's like really, really terrifying. You know, you can lose your house and end up on the street. So just like try to like maybe have a plan that you are going to do it slowly, sending those CV slowly, like learning all the things that you need, reading the job descriptions, and like having like a plan of like do it in a strategic way, you know, like if it's like you have map and there's like you know, like a war gathering, or like in the movies, like, you know, like Napoleon, for example, and he was like had a map and like was like moving like figurines on the map, like we're going here and here. So write like a strategy for yourself, what you have to learn, what is like the week first, week second, week third that you are planning, and then create your CV that will like connect with the job descriptions, and just like take it slowly. Don't like by all means, but don't quit your job without anything lined up next, because you that could be like very bad idea. And even like if someone like tells you on LinkedIn and anywhere, like with like motivation quotes or like whatever, to just like go after it, and like I do it like never give up, learning every day and all that stuff, you know, like motivation. But I always like I never write it, but like for me, it's like you have to have like a grain of salt with like everything, like the dreamy thinking, and like first thing I need to have rent to pay, you know, like I need to have money. So do it slowly, do it in a strategic way, and just like still follow your dreams, but like, yeah, do it smart. So yeah, that's my advice.
Yeah, and the when you mentioned treating interviews like tests, I would like to add to that. I recently applied to something else, got interviewed for something else, two different positions. But the interview I got was for a position that I would never do because that's just not what I want to do. But I was like, this just landed in my inbox. So I should do it. Maybe I will not continue. I can just interview. So I interviewed. I had feedback from that interview. Of course, I did not went forward with that position, but I got feedback from that interview, and I am taking that feedback into every other future interview that I will be going into. So, yes, even when you don't want a job and you get an interview, go for the interview. There is no harm in giving an hour or a half to an interview. You will get something out of that. And in networking, the current job you have right now at Black Hills, you actually got it from a conference, right? You went for public speaking, and from that, you met your future employer and you got hired. Can you please tell a little story about that?
Yeah, I actually you tell all the story there is, but yeah, I was like on the besides Krakow, and I was already talking publicly for a year. And so I was getting pretty good at it. And I had a presentation about social engineering for, I don't remember which one was that, because I had two versions. One is hacking a human, social engineering like basics, what is like elicitation, all that stuff. But another version I have, because I'm like moving more with my interest into physical pen tests, like kind of like breaking into buildings. So how to use social engineering into physical engagement, like physical pen tests. And I don't know which one they saw, I don't remember, but it was kind of impressive to one of the employees from Black Hills that was listening to that presentation. I also went to training with them 2 days before the conference, and I felt like I was the smartest person in the room. Although at first I didn't believe like I would, that's like the right training for me, because it felt like very advanced and like maybe too difficult for me. So I to be honest, I was like struggling if I should like get on the train and like go to Krakow even to the training, but I did, and I felt like, yeah, no, I'm not like losing any chances. I'm going to learn something there, even if it's like too difficult, then I can still learn. So I went and like turns out like all the tools that were like mentioned during that training, like most of them I knew, and like half of them I already used. So I was like making a lot of comments out of my experience, and the trainer saw like, oh, you know about things, and like so he asked me about my CV after like 2 hours of the training. So he already had my CV. Someone else saw my presentation. I met the owner of Black Hills, John Strand, at the booth with Black Hills, and also his wife, talked with her a bit, and I had like the face of Wonder Woman there. So I had like a moment where I changed my normal clothes into the Wonder Woman dress with like the red cape, and I started walking around. I took a selfie with the besides Krakow like stand up roll up kind of like yeah, a poster kind of thing, and like a lot of people saw me, and maybe that was something that was impressive, that I was like brave enough to do it and like go around in public. I did it as a like a practice for me because I used to be super shy, so like wearing red and like a cape and like being like out of like my comfort zone was something for me to grow like emotionally and like personally and like on a lot of levels kind of. So all those things connected to each other, and so I heard when and I also like I went to the office because Black Hills has an office in Krakow, and I was like looking for a job. Then I asked him, oh, like I'm looking for a job. I talked with her like a bit. Do you have like anything for me? But they weren't hiring at that moment in that office. So it's like it's okay. I just gathered my courage and I asked, and I'm like happy about it that I I took a chance on myself. So all of those things connected with each other, and those people came back to John Strand. Oh, like, oh, this person talked with me. Oh, she had like a presentation. Oh, this is her CV. Oh, and he like talked with me in person, like for a moment, and like his wife as well. And so I heard that he went to the United States and said to his team, "Oh, Dorota Kozlowska, if she wants to work with us, let's hire her." And like so, they contact me like a month later, and it was pretty much for a job interview. And it was like, like first to ask like if I'm interested, and like to schedule it. And I didn't have any technical conversations, like I don't know, because before I had like was looking for a job for like 6 months, like kind of, so I had like pen tests and like had to write reports and like all that stuff. And I was kind of surprised they didn't ask anything technical. They already saw I work for Accenture. I'm a speaker. That's what they were looking for. And and yeah, I could just look hired on the fly. And yeah, so that's what I like say, that network. So show yourself. Don't like sit in your house, not being like public on LinkedIn or anywhere, and like hoping that you can get the job, because it could be like very, very hard in that situation. You have to stand out uh, above the crowd a bit to get a job now, because everyone wants to enter cyber, and you have to have something that is special about you, like people get excited about working with you. And so I'm also like a nice person, and like I'm trying to build like this brand, that I'm, for example, like asking people to be kind to each other, because I do care about like people being kind to me, kind of, because it's like, yeah, around me, uh maybe I don't know, my region is like different, because we are like a bit like uh, we don't trust strangers, and like it's very hard to have a friend in my region. And like yeah, so people are like suspicious of it, so it's like not super kind sometimes. So I did care to like show the kindness to others, and like talk about it. So it's also like part of my brand, and I think a part of the things that got like Black Hills excited, like working with me, because I already like fit into the team, that because they're like super nice in there, like super helpful, and like yeah. So I felt like I fit into the team. So that was the first thing, and I was like very offensive. I wanted to learn, and they are like a company that don't really care about what certifications do you have. They care about if you're like a good person, if you're like nice and good to work with, and also if you want to learn, because they have a lot to teach you. So yeah, those are like the things that clicked together.
And yeah, beside, you mentioned that you are being in front of people's eyes so that they know you exist. And when it comes to job hunting, it will be a little easier for you. Public speaking that you do also gets you in front of a lot of people, and you actually got your job through public speaking. So when it comes to beginners who do not have so much experience or so much knowledge to talk about, how do you suggest them to start public speaking? What can they talk about? What topic can they pick? Because again, they do not have so much experience and knowledge to talk about.
Actually, well, I did it in a way, fake it till you make it, first time, because I wasn't at all a specialist in social engineering, but I decided to just send call for papers to conferences. You just have to, and I was like trying to figure out how to be that speaker, how to be like that amazing people, those amazing people that I actually look up to, because I felt like, oh, they're like so, like my idols in a way, you know? So, but it's like, it turns out it's not that hard. You just have to find conferences that you are interested in. And they're like, all of them that have like a tab on their webpage called Call for Papers or CFP. And then you just go there and there's like a form you have to fill. So you have to write about yourself, like who you are. And now with AI, you can even ask AI to like summarize your LinkedIn profile, or like you write something and then to make it prettier for the conference submission. And so also you can ask AI to write, because you also have, you write about yourself, and then you write the agenda of the presentations you're going to give. You can also ask AI to write the agenda for you. Just give them like a rough sketch of what the presentation is going to be about, and AI was going to write it in like a professional way. You can then rewrite it in your own words if you feel like it. But also usually it's like okay to just like copy paste in there, and then you just send it. And if they like what you're like proposing to them, they will pick you, and then you have like a month or two to like really, really create that PowerPoint presentation. You can do it with Copilot as well, but I would advise to do it hand by hand, write it yourself, to do your research, because then when you like prepare yourself like that, and like your pictures, or like the color scheme is like what you choose for yourself, it's like what you look like that presentation is like really you kind of pull like on the screen, you on the screen, if that makes sense. So, and you like doing the research, preparing it, you are ready to just like just read it a few times afterwards and just go and present, you know. But with Copilot, if you ask Copilot to do it for you, sometimes it's cool as well, because it's like we'll do it quickly and in a professional way. Not everyone has like a one day or like few days like I did first time to create that presentation, right? And with Copilot, it's like 10 minutes and it's like ready. And you can like do adjustments to look more like you. But then you have to like spend more time to like learn that presentation. So both ways work, but how I would like go about it if I were like doing it like first time, like to answer your question, I had like this advice to one of like women I was like talking recently, that she wanted to enter cybersecurity. And so I said to her, you know, like OWASP top 10. It's like the 10 vulnerabilities that are like very, like still like found and like mostly exploited. So find or read about the OWASP top 10. Which one do you like most? And then you can like ask AI to write an agenda for a presentation about this vulnerability, and do it in like a unique way, like a unique scenario or something that is like wasn't like told before about this vulnerability that is like very popular. For example, SQL injection. You can say it from like a different way, or maybe connect it with like SQL map, or like how you can exploit it in an automated way, for example. And then you can have like a presentation, or even you can have like a presentation about something from OWASP top 10, and then with the use of AI, how to hack into that vulnerability. do your research about it, and like yeah, that's I think that could be a very popular idea actually, because everyone is like interested in pen testing with AI right now. So yeah, I would just like to summarize, just find the topic that you're like excited about. For me, that was social engineering, that I wanted to learn more about and like be better about, like be and also like build my brand, because I used to be called Woman in Red of Cyber, woman. I'm sorry, Wonder Woman of Cyber, and now I'm more working into like the Woman in Red scenario, and Woman in Red because red teamer, because physical pen testing, because social engineering, and those skills kind of work in a way with like the scene from the Matrix when there's like this woman that is like very distracting for like the Neo, for the male uh, uh, pedestrian. I don't know how to say that, but and then she turns away and she's an agent. So I'm like trying to say, okay, I don't look like a threat, maybe, but I have knowledge, and yeah, and so make it in a way that works with you. So it's a topic that resonated with you. That's something that you're super interested in learning more about, and then just learn as preparation for the presentation. So you, after you say that presentation a few times, like even in front of your mirror, you will be like like a super specialist. And yeah, you can, after a while, you have few presentations in public, you can even put it on your LinkedIn, like you're like social engineering specialist. And because that's what you are, you know, you, from someone that didn't know anything about it, you have some audience exposure, and then they think about you as a specialist in that topic, because you are, because you were spending so much time to prepare that presentation, that now you know more than they do. And yeah, so it kind of like makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Just don't deepen it, make it as simple as possible, and give yourself that title because you worked for it. And some people just don't assign themselves the title or make you feel shy because they think like they don't deserve it. But if you work for it, then you deserve it. And the
Yeah.
display behind you, is that a blackboard? Did you draw that yourself?
That yourself. Yeah, yeah, actually, yes. It's my logo.
Yeah, it's women and right. So because on the
I
drawing.
also have like stickers, and like I'm
Yeah,
working
that is
on.
amazing. Yes, that is amazing. Woman in Red. That is your podcast, right?
Mhm. I mean, this is like the brand that I'm working. So the Woman is a blog, it's like a podcast, and I'm like working towards like building it more into like a professional brand in my future. But my podcast, one is called Ethical Hacking is and Wholesomeness, and second one is Inspiring Ladies of Cyber.
So
So
thank you so much for your time. I'm not going to take any more, but can you please briefly describe your time management thing because you have a job, you have your YouTube channel, you have blog, and you have a lot of hobbies as well. How do you manage your time with that?
I guess like those are like my hobbies. So I don't know. I just have to. I'm very good with time management, so I have like a scheduler. Every like hour is scheduled for me. Like yeah, sometimes I do have like days that where I just like read a book. So obviously, that I have to rest, but I'm trying to be like very conscious with my time, and setting boundaries for like what time can I give to someone else as well. So because I my time I feel is precious, and like I need to learn and I need to grow, and so yeah. But it's also like important because I get like a bit like maybe extreme sometimes that I'm learning from morning to like evening, and it's like very dangerous because you can burn out quickly. So like I'm also trying to uh, create like a balance in my life where I'm also uh, having like days or yeah like hours like in the evening after work or like before, because I start working from 1 p.m. sometimes, and I guess it's like elastic, so I can like flexible, I can start whatever time I want, but I chose to be 1 p.m. And so I have the mornings for like something that I can do for me, like learning, or like even go cycling, or just like maybe have like a slow breakfast. and it's like depends from day to day. So yeah, I'm trying to schedule some of the things like I have all the podcasts for this year in advance scheduled, and it's like yeah, I can move it around because I also like at my job I sometimes like I go to conference and like I'm asked to be on the booth of Black Hills, or just like I'm being chosen as the speaker. So then I go like on my own kind of, but still supported by my employer. So then I have to like reschedule the episode of a podcast because yeah, I'm traveling, so maybe the internet connection is could be like unreliable, and like yeah, then just wanted to provide the best possible quality to the guests. Like when someone is giving me my time, them if someone is giving me their time, then it's like very precious to me, and I want to respect that. So yeah, but I don't know what to answer exactly. I just like have a scheduler. I have also a Kanban board when I write something that I wanted to do this year, and I move it around to like in progress when I'm working on that thing, when I have some time, and then move it to done when it's like done. So I can move to another thing. And because I have like thousands ideas like every minute, and some of them are just like forget what they are. So I have to write those down and then the ones that are like look more like realistic I just like go ahead with, and so that's how I guess my life is. When I feel like it, I just do hack the box. I stopped doing it like every day because it's like yeah I get just like burnt. I get a bit burnt out with like doing a lot of labs all the time. But sometimes I just like feel like it, so I just like have like a weekend to do it, and yeah, then sometimes it's like scheduled things. So like the podcast is like in advance, and the conferences are like scheduled in like months advance. So I have to prepare like flights and everything. But some of the things are like very yeah, how I feel about it, or maybe I want to go for like a bike ride, or maybe I want to read a book, or maybe I feel like doing a lab, and then those like weekends are just like what I like do. Like I pick in between like doing something like for resting, like scheduling, like reading a book, or like going for a walk, or like doing something for my self development. So like it's working on my page, writing a blog post, like maybe hack the box lab, or like even editing the videos from my podcast for YouTube purposes. That's also surprisingly takes a lot of time. And so yeah, it's just like yeah, do I feel like resting today or working? So it's like I have some order in that, and like the scheduling thing, like time management, but also I'm trying to not schedule too much because it's like I feel like then like in prison on my own calendar in a way. So I'm trying to create like a balance so to also like grow and like move along, but also like I understand that I get a bit obsessive with the like learning. When I was preparing for OCP, I was learning for a year from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day for a year without like no cinema, walking, like having coffee with friends. It was just like clear focus on I want to really pass that exam, and I didn't pass. So because my laptop turns out were like too weak for that exam at that point in time. So that's like where like the burnout can catch you, and that's like very dangerous. And so that's why you have to have like a balance of yeah, it's time for you, and also yeah, I want to grow and learn those things, right? So I had to schedule some time to do that as well.
Yeah, so basically having control of your time and having the ability to move things around to do what works for you best. And
Yeah.
learning from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. continuously, that is really hard. How did you do that?
Yeah, because I just like I'm really passionate about this, and it's like I don't feel it's like as a chore, like it's something hard for me. I mean, it is hard, it is difficult because it's like new topics and very complex, but also I'm like, and like I do admit, like learning for ICP was like very like anxiety inducing because you have like you're pressured for time, and I don't really do well with like being pressured for time, and like TikTok sound like in my head, kind of, when I have to focus, because it's like impossible to focus when you see the time is like running away. And so that was super difficult, and I had to learn how to work like with the time. But I just like how did I do it for a year? It's just like it brings me like happiness, and I already mentioned I'm a learner at core. So if I'm learning something new, it like makes me happy, and I'm like self-propelling windmill kind of. So every new thing that I'm learning, I feel like good about myself. I feel like the I don't know, endorphins, even like good hormones in my body being in those, or like dopamine. Sometimes when I like pop a box and I have like domain admin, or I get like the flag. So that's like pushing me forward to do more. And it's kind of like sometimes doing hack the box labs, it feels like a drug in a way that, oh, I did one, I want to do another one. And like, let's do it quickly. And I'm excited now, and let's like, chase the dopamine, you know? And so it was kind of like that for me, because it's like I entered in industry I was like dreaming about when I was a kid, and it's like now it's like the dream, you know, like I have to use the dream. And so I didn't feel like it was something that was like I don't know, making me sad in a way. So I was like doing that because I felt good about it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's awesome. Again, thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for all the important points that you mentioned. Your journey is really something challenging, and anyone can learn a lot from that. Moving from a stable thing to an unstable that you heard once, but you do not actually know what is actually waiting for you ahead. That was very courageous of you. Again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this, and I really appreciate that. Is that the Wonder Woman outfit behind you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you wore that in one of the show you were at with Jack Scott, I guess. And
No, no, that one was something else. It was like fake leather, and this one is foam, and this one is like 101, like really in the movie. It looks like, but it's like I'm a bit bigger than the costume right now, so it's just like a decoration for now. But yeah, I still hope to wear it one day, even like for a photo shoot. And the shield I got as a gift from someone that invited me to his training. And so, and the sword is like from the the Witcher. I don't know if you know the series of a TV show on Netflix, but The Witcher is a book that like a Polish author wrote like a story series of books actually. So it was like something like I was in love with when I was a teenager because it was big in Poland then. So yeah, it doesn't kind of make sense, but it's like a armor, and she's wearing a sword. So I thought, okay, it's fine.
yeah, that is
And the mask
amazing.
is like from the woman in red, kind of. So it's like all those things that are like me uh, together, kind of.
Yeah, they're matching both masks. Okay, again, and thank you so much for giving me your time. It's almost an hour, so again, thank you so much for being here and for your time. It was amazing talking to you and having you on here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much
Bye.
for coming. Bye.